She sent a long Dear Colleague letter over the weekend, Carl, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, essentially saying she's optimistic about potentially reaching a deal, but she set this new 48-hour deadline to do so, and she did appear to take direct aim at an agreement on coronavirus testing language in particular. That was an agreement that the Treasury Secretary had touted late last week, and she said that essentially that the administration had reneged on about 55% in her estimation of that language. But she did signal that optimism after she did so. The President Trump, appeared on the campaign trail in Reno, Nevada, and he said that he would be willing to go even higher than the $2.2 trillion that Pelosi had offered. He said essentially that he'd be willing to go higher, but he believes that perhaps Republicans who have been a roadblock for this would go along if, in fact, there was an actual bill to send over to them. But there's still a question of whether that is actually the case. Now, Senate Republicans had previously backed a package of only 1/4 of the size under discussion now, and tomorrow they'll vote on something even smaller, a reauthorization of just $135 billion in unspent small business funds. Chief of Staff Mark Meadows was asked about the heartburn among the Republican Party, and here's what he said earlier this morning.
It passed his prologue. Nancy Pelosi is going to put out this 48-hour deadline. She's not going to move anymore, and she's not going to move at all. And so by saying anymore, I haven't seen real movement on her part. All we've been doing is trying to provide additional areas of relief where we could compromise.
So how hard would that actually be? Meadows said the president won't personally call Republicans to shore up support until there's actually a deal on the table. But here's the way the party lines break down so far. If Pelosi were to sign off, Democratic leader Chuck Schumer would likely be able to get the 47 members of his party to support it. That would leave just 13 votes to get to the 60-vote support threshold. There are 11 Republican senators whose re-election races are either toss-ups or only leans Republicans, meaning that they would have an incentive to potentially back it. But the question for Republicans is, even if it passes, has the clock run out to the point there's no political benefit left? Several GOP aides tell me that support would have been much higher in August or September, when it would have been guaranteed that this money would hit accounts before early voting began, and the impact, Carl, would potentially have been more noticeable in the polls. But of course, we'll see what both sides come together with in the next 48 hours, if that is in fact the deadline.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.